Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. So today I have finally managed to get the tank review in the KANJPZ 3 GST Turm. Now, yeah, sorry about the delay, but I'm sure you all know there's been, since the patch, you've got this nightmare 1 HP flame bug, and I was getting it pretty much every game, and it was a kind of a nightmare, so I didn't really want to play the game. But I decided to battle through it and just get the replays for you today. And just so I can get this video out. So what we'll do, I'll quickly talk about the tank and then I'll get into the two gameplays we have to show it off. So this is a tier 10 premium tank destroyer, German tank destroyer, which is available in the Ultimate Season Pass. So you can earn this tank for 6,000 gold, which in reality only costs you 4,000 gold if you complete the Season Pass, because you get that 2,000 gold back. So in terms of value for money, a tier 10 premium tank, for 4,000 gold is always good. But in terms of the tank itself, it's honest with you, it's not very good. It is below par. It's what I will do. I'll quickly talk. I think I'm going to talk about the positives first, and then we'll get into the negatives. So the positive of this tank is you've got fantastic mobility. I've got a mobility of 68 kilometers an hour, and you can get to that top speed pretty quickly. You've got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is always nice. Allows you to play those ridge lines. And then on the AP rounds, you've got 1,200 shell velocity, which is pretty decent for AP rounds. So that's your positives. But what makes this tank really bad to play, really, is the gun handling, for one, is awful. Takes you ages, really, to aim in, especially on the move. It's very throwy, and I think that aim time just makes it feel really bad and not very accurate at all. Combined by the fact that you look at the tank and you think, well, it's got armor, you should be able to play hold down, but you can't, because the armor's just not very effective. Like if you're playing against standard rounds, the armor's, it's okay, you can bounce shots, you'll be in a game, you'll be hold down, I'm bouncing shots, this is pretty good. The second someone starts firing the premium shells, they just go through your whole like butter, and your armor is just not effective at all. So when you combine those two facts, and then by the third fact is the DPM on the tank is rubbish. It's below par for tier 10 tank destroyer, and those three things just make the tank not that enjoyable to play, if I'm honest. It really needs either a buff to the armor, so that it sort of balances those things out, or a buff to the DPM, or the gun handling. You've got to have one of those things, because at the moment it's just not very good, and which is a bit of a shame. But I've got, I'll just quickly go over some of the stats. You've got 400 alpha, 265 penetration on your standard AP rounds, again with a 1,200 shell velocity, which is nice. And then on your heat rounds, your premium, you've got 310 with 1,000 shell velocity, which is average. 60 head on your HE with 515 alpha. The concealment actually on a tank, I guess that's not bad. The concealment I've got down my setup, which we'll see shortly, to 272, which is actually not bad. You can play more of those stealthy tank destroyers, which is handy when you need to. So that is good. Like I say, the DPM I've got to 3,092 in my setup, which is poor for a tier 10 tank destroyer. But yeah, that's pretty much basics. Hit points, you've got 1,900 HE, and you've got 10 degrees of gun depression. But as always, I don't want to keep rambling on. I'd rather just get into the replay, and you can just see the replay as it unfolds, and I'll talk about the tank a little bit more. Okay, so here we are for the first replay then, where you can see we've already got the flame buff of death, and we've got the 1 hit point bug, so we have no idea how many hit points we have throughout this game. If you want to see the equipment and crew setup, you will see it at the bottom of the screen now. One thing I forgot to mention is I do run clutch braking on this crew setup, because the rotation of the tank is also poor. And being that you only have a semi-rotational turret, you kind of want that to help you to stop tanks getting around the back of you. So we go on to the first replay here on Muro. We go to a sort of standard position at the start, just to see if we can spot any tanks crossing. We do get detected by that light tank was playing quite aggressive, and we just want to try and lose our spot, but we also want to try and keep the vision down here as much as we can to know how many tanks we have coming there. If there's going to be a lot of tanks, we need to try and get out of there and use our mobility, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Now, we pretty much fully aimed that shot. Unfortunately, it goes into his tracks. Like I say, the gun does feel a little bit derpy at times, but then we are able to get our second shot into him, picking up our first pen. And you can see the DPM on this tank is not fantastic. It's yeah, and overall it just doesn't feel that enjoyable play. I mean, the mobility's nice. I do enjoy the mobility. That's the thing I must say, and I enjoy the 10 degrees of gun depression. But it's just those other flaws. You can see like the aim time here, it's just taking forever to aim in, and it makes the gun feel, you know, less accurate than it probably is. We do get another shot into that heavy tank, putting them onto a 2-shot to us now, and we're just waiting patiently because we do have other shots. You can see on the hill from this side, it looks like the majority of the enemy team are playing the other side of the map, so that's good info for us. But for the moment, we still have shots available. But when this heavy tank dies, I'm going to be able to push forward, and I want to do that sooner than later, because I want to try and put the enemy team under more pressure. Because you can see the majority of the tanks are that side, and I'm a little bit concerned about it. So this enemy heavy tank does get destroyed. Now I want to push all the way aggressively to the end to get shots on these tanks on the hill. Unfortunately, I do get detected, which I think is from that enemy light tank. He puts one shot into us, he does pen us, but I don't know how many hit points I've lost because of the bug. But it couldn't have been a lot of hit points. So at this point, I think I'm still fairly healthy, but this is just flame bug. It's just absolutely awful. We do spot now this Victoria, this medium tank here, and I'm hoping he is going to get shut down by our friendly tanks, and that is what's happening. We're starting to reap the reward of that push and get the assistance. And this is the position I want to get in. I want to get a hold down and then trying to get snipe shots on these enemy tanks on the hill and try and pick up as much damage as we can in this situation when the tanks are caught out in an unfavourable position. So we get our second shot into this T60 there, putting them onto a 1-shot, and we should have an option to finish off this bar. Like I said, the shell velocity on the AP, that is nice because, you know, AP rounds, I do quite like them for the normalisation of the rounds there. And the good shell velocity on the AP is pretty good. And your penetration on the AP, 265, you know, that's not bad either. So we're getting some assistance to spotting these tanks, and this game's starting to look okay. You know, we've got 3,000 assistance, 2,400 damage. Still very, very close. But we've got penned a few times here, and I don't know how many hit points I've lost because this pesky bug. Enemy light tanks getting behind me. I'm careful not to turn my tank all the way around until I get kind of below that ridge line, because I don't want to turn my armour and then get shot by the hill. So I had to just accept the fact that that light tank was getting behind us there, and we've probably lost a few hit points, but I just don't know how many. I have no idea how many hit points I've got left at this stage of the game, which is never good, because then you don't know if you can make trade shots, because you just don't know. I just can't calculate that because I don't know my hit point pool. But looking at the map, we need to get alert here because the enemy team have won the 1-2-3 line and are pushing along to our base. So what I want to do, I'm not going to push over that side into their base. I'm going to react and go back to try and defend the base. And I'm hoping my tanks are going to come with me. So you see, I'm just trying to ping our chisel here just to try and head back because I think it's time to react sooner than later. So trying to find where the defend the base symbol is right now. But I've just realised I can't actually use commands like that when I'm in this bug. I know I have, yeah, defend base. I have found it, sorry, that was a lie. So I'm just trying to get back and get my team to defend the base. I stopped for a second because I am in a good position to get to the base now. I'm looking to see if we can get some punish shots in. Unfortunately, we don't pen that tank there on the hill, which is a shame. Would have put him onto a 1-shot. But we've got a nice opportunity to shoot that tank, but it just derps and doesn't go where we want it to do. And we miss an opportunity to get a pen into Leopard. And this game is starting to swing for the enemy team. You know, they have taken the tank advantage, and we're getting pushed back a little bit. Like I said, with our tanks though, in the sort of 7 line, they you know, sort of the A7, they should spot the cap, so I should be in a good position to maybe get cross shots in. I just need to hope my team stay alive and you make themselves as hard as they can to get destroyed there. We get a nice shot into the type, and now he is trying to back around the building. We have swapped to the heat shells because it's going to be a lot easier for us to pen that type. Enemy double barrel does cross there, and we get a nice shot into the side. Looking for a second shot if we can. He gets trapped in place. We get a nice shot straight for the engine and sets him on fire. Puts us on to 4,500 damage now with 4,000 assistance, and I should just be able to get the kill shot in. Enemy bat tank destroyers coming in. This is dangerous. I want to hit this shot mainly because it's going to spot us if we don't. Unfortunately, we missed the shot, which kind of means our enemy, a friendly team, take a bit more damage for it, which is not good. He does get taken out. Now we're in a 5 versus 7. Now at this point, I want to try and take. Basically, I'm aware of the fact that I want to move because the enemy team are probably going to be coming sort of behind us now down this field side. and I'm very conscious of that, but I wanted to try and kill the type before I moved on, because it's on a one shot, but he gets shut down by our friendly 704. Now I'm in a situation where the E4 is pushing over. Again, I do not know my hit points, so I just don't know. Can I eat a shot off the E4? I don't know, but I don't want to find out, so I'm going to try and just move out of here, because I'm going to get surrounded at this point. I mean, it's still close, but we have no map control whatsoever, and we are pushed into one square. Thankfully, the enemy tanks do not have, the enemy team doesn't have any artillery, so that's at least good. I'm trying to get back to getting a sort of a hold down position to try and cover our friendly tank destroyer here. Just trying to turn around as quick as we can. Our friendly TD does kill the enemy T60, was left on a one shot, and I'm looking to see if I can get any shots into this E4 to try and cover him. Unfortunately, E4 is undetected. Now I know there's going to be tanks coming this way. I'm hoping just to try, I don't want to go too far back, because I want my team to be able to cover me, and I'm trying to just keep the vision as best I possibly can. Unfortunately, the waffle gets to safety here. The waffle is pretty healthy as well, and things aren't looking bright for us at the moment, but I'm just trying to back up. Now I think maybe I should have backed up to the ridge below. I get detected by this enemy heavy tank. I'm thinking, well, can I just put one shot into him? I know the E4's there, and now he's targeting us as well, so this is not great. We poke up to get a shot in the waffle, and then we get penned straight through the turret. Like I said, the turret is not good against tanks with those high penetration. It just goes straight through it, and that's probably going to mean it's a loss for our team, which is a shame, but we did what we did. Let's move on to the end replay, and we'll see how we got on before we go on to that final replay. Okay, so you see we do lose, but we still get 2 kills, 5,000 damage, 5,000 assistance, and have an okay game, even though it was a loss. But let's move on now to the final replay of the video. Okay, so here we are for the final replay on Arctic region, where we have one enemy artillery, but we don't have any enemy light tanks, which is nice, and it's also team destruction, so we don't have to worry about being capped out. So initially I'm planning to move to the sort of A5 area, and from there we can then decide if we want to push forward or we want to just try and play as that TD and cover our teammates. As you say, it does have good mobility, so we're able to get across here really quickly, which is helpful for avoiding taking any damage on the cross, and also just allows you to get to those aggressive positions really nicely. It's just a shame when you get there, you just don't have much armour, which is not good. I have decided that I'm going to play in a very aggressive position, which is risky, but I saw a friendly enemy tank destroyer down in that position to our left, and I'm thinking if I use these ridge here, I might be able to try and knock some trees down, get a bit of concealment, and then hopefully see if we can poke some shots in as he pokes up. So that is what happens. We get a nice shot in. You see, when you're fighting a opposite version of yourself, just use the heat shells and put a shot just where I did there in the cheek of the turrets, and you will pen them pretty much every time. So yeah, easy pens if you just swap to the heat for these targets. Look to get another shot in. Unfortunately, I shot a little bit too far to the right, and that one does in fact bounce. If I shot a little bit further to the left, that shot would have gone in. I'm going to go back now and see if I can get another shot in, because our friendly heavy tank has gone to engage, and I want to try and give him as much support as I possibly can. You can see the concealment is good there, but now I have noticed how many tanks are behind me, and I don't want to stay here to find out when they push around that corner. It's not going to go well for us, so I'm thinking, you know what, I'm going to push in and try and kill this tank, and then maybe I can try and get behind those heavy tanks on the sort of C1 area. Unfortunately, our friendly heavy tank gets taken out. We look to get up a shot in, but it derps, and you see that's what I mean. The accuracy is not great. You really have to aim it in. And then I eat a shot in return, which is not good, but I can kill this tank in 2 shots. Enemy waffle tank is there though, which is not good. I'm now I want to kill this tank quickly because I don't want to be stuck where I am. We do kill that tank. Waffle is looking to get a shot into us. Thankfully, it bounces. Now I decide I'm going to go in and ram this waffle, get a shot in on the move, because this tank's reasonably heavy and I can do some damage to this waffle here, and I do put him onto a one shot. Unfortunately though, there is a type 4 moving in for us now. Now this is where I think I kind of made a mistake. I'm trying to face hug him and get a shot in there, but it's not really ideal. I can pen that little gun there where I'm shooting, but I end up bouncing a shot, and I think what I really should have done is just reverse back and just put a shot straight through his lower plate like I am now actually doing. But we do so, and we put them onto a one shot. We're just hoping we don't get derped here and lose some damage, but thankfully we get another shot in. We are pretty low health, but we've kind of killed 3 tanks there with the help of our teammate. So we have got rid of 3 tanks in the game, giving us back the advantage, putting us into a 12 versus 9. Although I am fairly low on hit points, but at least I can see that, which is good because I'm not on fire. Enemy opposite version of this tank is now available. No, sorry, what am I talking about? Enemy stock IS-2-2 there with the stock turret poked up, and we've just put a heat shell straight through his turret and taking him out. Now we have the opposite version of ourselves, but he's a lot healthier than we are. We do have elite support from this friendly T95 there, which is helpful. But again, this is what I'm talking about, the heat shells. He's hold down there. I just put a heat shell straight through his turret. That's the problem with that tank. I mean, if ever was a good opportunity to show what I was talking about, it's that. The turret is very acceptable to those premium rounds. So, looking to try and get a shot into these tanks. This is what I wanted to do, is get behind these heavy tanks and get a couple of shots in to help out our tanks on the sort of 1-2 line. The problem is they're kind of alerted to my presence now, and they're waiting to put a shot in, and it's not really good. And especially now our friendly teammate in the T95 has been taken out, I am left a little bit, kind of alone here, which is not good. We then get shot by that enemy heavy tank. We do put one back into him, but this is not good. We are on a one shot, and I don't want to stay here to find out if I get pushed by that TD, because I'm not going to win that engagement now, but I'm only on 200 hit points. So I'm thinking the best thing for me to do is retreat. Now, a lot of my other teammates are on this side. This game's kind of gone back a little bit more even. You've still got the advantage. You've still got 2 tank advantage, but it's a lot closer. And I've got to be careful that I just don't have any hit points now. So I push up to this position, mainly thinking that if the enemy tanks, which I kind of assumed they were going to win in the sort of C1 area, I was thinking if they do win, I can try and use my concealment and get side shots in when they push across. But what ends up happening is we spot an enemy artillery, and I'm guessing that they're AFK. I don't know why else they'd be sitting here, but it's good news for us because we're able to farm some free damage here. I could have used a HE, to be honest with you, to just get rid of him quicker, but I decided, I guess I just didn't react quick enough to do so. But hopefully we can try and get the kill, and unfortunately he does get taken out before we can pull the trigger, but at least that enemy artillery is now out of the game. And we're on what, 5,000 damage, 4 kills, 1,500 assistance. We have got 1,700 blocked as well. Like I say, can block shells. It's just when they start firing the premium rounds. So we're in a good position, but I want to be careful that I need to be careful because I just don't have any hit points to make any mistakes here. And I decided, I think that looking at the map control, I'm just going to stay exactly where I am because I know there are TDs out there in the distance, and I'm just going to think if they move, I can get some shots in, and I kind of can react to a lot of situations here. Enemy chieftain looks like he's going to cross, but he gets detected early and then doesn't make the cross, which is a shame for us because we could have got some shots in. But I'm just going to wait patiently to see if he does make a mistake, and if he does lose his spot and then try and cross, then I'll be able to get some shots in. But that doesn't seem to be happening. I keep just looking around just to check the hit points of the enemy team and to see if they're going to push up. And like I said, my main thing is where I am, if the enemy team start to push around that side, I can get shots in from a safe distance. So that is what I'm kind of thinking. Looks like our team are starting to win on the 1-2 area, which is going to give us a bit of options. I was thinking about moving, but I then spot this enemy tank destroyer behind this building there, and I'm starting to pick up the assistance for it as well. We do have a friendly artillery in the game still, so these targets, if I do keep them detected, I can pick up some assistance. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Just stay patient. 5,000 damage, 2,600 assistance. So we are on a good game. Enemy E4 crosses. He spots us here, and at this point I'm thinking I've got to get out of here. But I don't think I've got enough time to turn and run. I'm going to get shot, and to be honest, I'm thinking this could be over for us. I do have one tank covering us from the hill behind us, and that is what I'm hoping for. But my concealment here, I'm behind these bushes. Now, I'm not getting spotted. I shot there because the E4 shot, and now I know I can actually out-reload him and get the kill, but he gets shut down by a friendly waffle anyway, And I'm really surprised I got away with that one, but thankfully I lost my spot just in the nick of time, and getting behind those bushes obviously really helped. So we're now on 6,000 damage with again 2,500 assistance, and we're back into a 7 versus 4. Now there was an enemy Avery on sort of like the K6 line, and I'm keeping an eye on that tank, and it looks like he's coming my way. Now I have to get out of there because that Avery, you know, no armor's going to save me against the dreaded Avery. It's just going to shoot and splash us. You know, it doesn't have to pen. You know, with 200 hit points, it probably doesn't even have to hit us. So I've got to try and get out of there from that enemy Avery. So I'm trying to leave while I can. Unfortunately, he spots us though before we can get to safety. And now I'm thinking I can't keep committing on this road I was on. I've just got to get tucked in safe and just make sure he can't get a shot in. I'm wobbling about just in case he's trying to get the shot. Just want to lose that spot so we can get back to safety, because 7 versus 4, we definitely got the advantage, but it's also one of those situations where things can go south quite quickly, so you've got to be careful. So I don't want to just lose my tank and then it starts to, you know, I just want to stay in this game until the very end. You know, we've got 6,000 damage. We could try and get a couple more shots in if we're lucky, bring it to the 7,000 mark. So let's just try and stay in this game. So I pull back, but now that enemy Avery has been destroyed, that gets rid of that angle, and pretty much all the enemy team are now sitting where they're spotted at the sort of F2 area. So I know I've got the freedom to go in, and if I want anything more out of this game, I do need to just get straight in there now as quickly as I can. Thankfully, this is where one of the pros of point of this tank comes into play, and that's a fantastic mobility. You can see I can travel across the map as very quickly, and that is one thing I do enjoy. Like I think this tank has potential, and maybe if they do some balance changes later, this tank, it could become good. So at the moment it's below par, it isn't very good, but it's got potential. So I'm looking to get a shot into this chieftain, and that is what I'm talking about. 100 meters away. Yes, it wasn't fully aimed because I thought it was going to move, but it was fairly close to being fully aimed, wasn't it? And we missed that shot, which is a shame because we just lost out on some damage there. Now I do manage to hit that shot though through the cupola of the chieftain, so at least I pick up that 5th kill. And that is the end for the replay and the review. So how did we finish that game off? We got 5 kills, 6,400 damage, 2,700 assistance with 2,000 blocked, picking up the ace tanker. So thank you so much for your support. As always, I will be getting videos in all the new buff tanks, so got that to look forward to. Again, thanks for your support. If you do like the review, remember to give me a like and subscribe, because it really helps out the channel. But as always, happy tanking.
Hadouken!